Hi, it's Mr. Boughton, and I just want to guide you through today's lesson. So I am not with you today, but I am in spirit, I guess you could say, and I'll walk you through some of the things. Just follow along with this video as we go through problems. You can work them out on your paper. You can pause this video at any time to have time. In fact, I'll want you to pause this video so that you have time to work it out, and then we can go over answers. So today, our goal is to practice and get prepared for the unit test that's coming up. And this is a skill right here that will be very beneficial, I think, in the future. So this is our warm-up. So let's go ahead and do these. These are easier than you think. And the one thing I really kind of want you to work on is simplifying our multiplication problem before you multiply. So I want to let's do number one right here real quickly together and then give you time to do the rest yourself. So in number one, so remember when we simplify before we multiply, we look for one of the numerators and we match it up with one of the denominators so that we have a common denominator, or I'm sorry, a common factor, and we can divide by that factor. So in this case, we see a 5 and a 25. We can divide both of these by 5. So we cross it out, we do the math in our head, and we put the answer here. 5 divided by 5 is 1, 25 divided by 5 is 5. And 8 and 12 also have a common factor. We could divide both of them by 4. You could also divide both of them by 2, but we'd have to do that twice. So here we're dividing by 4, and we get 3 and 2 down here. Now we have very simplified fractions, and it's easy to multiply these. 1 times 3, and then 2 times 5. We don't have to worry about simplifying our answer because we've already simplified our problem. So pause this video now and write these down in your notebooks. And when you're ready with the answers, just unpause the video so we can go over the answers. Okay, I'm going to kind of do this real quickly here. Hopefully I won't make any mistakes. I need you to check on me. Yeah, every once in a while I'll make some mistakes, and I'm working just off the top of my head, and I don't really feel all that great, so I may make a mistake on top of that. So here's the third one here. By the way, I'm going to pause here and say there's multiple ways of simplifying, so this is just one way to do it. That took a while. Next. So there, I divided both of these by 4, and now our final answer is 9/8, which is 1 1/8. So check your answers there, and comfortable, you are ready to move on. Let's take a look at today's lesson. Today, this is our goal. You've got 5 things to work on. Some of these things we'll do together on this video, and then at some point you can turn this video off and end it, and then work on other things. Especially number 3 has a separate video with instructions and directions and answers along with it that will guide you through that. We started that last week, so I want to make sure you had time to practice that as well as to see what the answers are. So the first thing we're going to work on is I want you to go back into the Math 6 CFA that you took last week and make corrections on it. So open that up, make sure you look at each of the mistakes that you made and just kind of work through the problem in your notebook. Okay, you're not going to resubmit it or do it again or anything. You're just going to work it through. Make sure you understand where your errors are. I saw 2 major errors. So if you thought, man, my grade wasn't all that great, well, I saw 2 mistakes. One of them was with triangles. The vast majority of people who made mistakes did not multiply by 1/2. So always remember to multiply 1/2 times the base times the height. When you are taking an assessment in geometry, the first thing you should do before you do any math, before you even look at the assessment, is on your paper, start writing this down. Put a star by it. Do this, star, triangle, 1/2 base times height. Start drawing other stuff. Do parallelogram. Okay, you could probably draw one better than that, but you want to say it is just the base times the height. You know, trapezoid. How do you find a trapezoid? You know, if you've got that memorized, it's the same as a triangle. It's 1/2 bases, you know, base plus base times the height. So you can write that down so you don't forget these formulas and you're not trying to just on the fly remember them. So always remember these halves, they will cause problems, and they did cause problems for some of you on that CFA. So whenever you do an assessment, write those on your paper before you even start the assessment. Just write those down, and any other formulas. Write little notes to yourself to remind yourself during a test. All right, so make corrections. It's not for a grade. It's not for extra credit. It's so that you know not to do those the next time you take an assessment. It's to help you practice for the next one. And then what we'll do is, by the way, when you do this, pause this video. Hit it pause, go back in, do all your corrections, and whenever you're ready, come back to this video, unpause, and we will work through some problems on the next few pages, just some extra practice problems. You'll work through it, we'll go over the answers, and then this video will end, and you will go into a third video. I'll show you where that is. This is on the volume of prisms with fractional edges. We started that last week. Here you see it in week 5. Homework, classwork. It is this classwork volume with fractional edges. All right, and you worked in your notebook. You did not put your answers on this. You don't have to submit this. This is a worksheet where you're working it out on your notebook. And so I want you to make sure you finish that. And if you did, we're going to go over the answers together. And so I have those answers. Let me go back here. Have those answers on a document for you, a video. It'll be in the same place. So you'll see where it is. I don't think it's on here right now. I have to upload it, but it'll be in the file that you found this. So you'll look for that video. And then when you're finished going through that and all the answers and checking your work, then there's a Nearpod practice. You'll see that in the folder. And if all of that is complete, then you'll do a geometry study guide. The answers are all included in there. Get ready for the test. The unit test is going to be the next time we meet. Okay, so that's today's lesson right here. Let's do some, actually right now you want to do number 1. So put this video on pause, go back to your CFA, make all those corrections, and then come back and unpause when you're ready. Okay, let's go on to this right here. I'm going to throw a few problems, maybe like 4 problems at you, just for extra practice. So I'll describe the problems, and then you can just pause, work them out, and then unpause to check your answers. So here we've got a parallelogram. The area is this. There are no units, so let's not bother ourselves with units in this case. This is one of the dimensions here. This is the other dimension. You're looking for the h. And same thing here, the area of the base, in other words, this base area right here is 15/16. The entire volume is 6 1/4 cubic inches. What would the height be? So I want you to think about the volume equals, if we took the area of the base times the height, we would know the volume. But we know the volume, we know the base area. Let's find the height. I think our warm-up will help with this. All right, go ahead and pause and take some time to work these out. Unpause when you're ready to go over the answers. All right, let's work this through here. 3 3/5. We would use division to find the missing factor, because to find the area of a parallelogram, it's base times height. Remember, parallelograms do not get multiplied by half. Those are only triangles and trapezoids. So let's just work this out just like we did in our warm-up. Okay, I got 3 1/5. Is that the same thing you got? Hopefully I didn't make any mistakes. I do that sometimes, especially if I'm working quickly like this. So the height would be 3 1/5. That makes sense. Okay. Here we have the same idea here, where if volume equals the area of the base times the height, we can work backwards by taking our volume and dividing by the area of the base to find the missing factor. Units. Make sure you have the correct units. Some of you got some points taken off of that CFA because you either did not put any units on or you put the incorrect units. So make sure you think about that. It makes you think a little bit harder. So this is the height. That's a one-dimensional, one dimension right there. So it's just inches, and that's it. All right, so here's another problem here. Okay, I want you to examine this and find the area of this irregular figure. Hit pause, work it through, and whenever, if you get stuck, then unpause, and I will show you a hint. So go ahead and pause. Okay, if you would like a hint, if not, you can kind of skip ahead a little bit, but here's what I would say. We definitely want to decompose here, or I would suggest decomposing into these shapes where we have a rectangle here and a triangle here. So we want to find the area of the rectangle and the area of a triangle. Organize your work. This is a suggestion I always make, and if kids will take this suggestion, it makes it just so much easier. Organize your work so you don't forget things. Remember that thing I told you to write on your paper before you ever take a test? Now you look back and you say, okay, oh yeah, rectangles, 1/2 base times height. So I want to get 1/2. I need the base and I need the height, and this is just a rectangle. That's easy. It's 18. Oh, is it 18 times 15? No, we have to slow down a little bit. So what is, let me use a different color here, the length and the width of this rectangle? It's not 18, is it? It is 10 and 15. So 10 is our width here, and 15 is our length. So we have to make sure you're getting the right numbers. Don't just throw the numbers that you see down, because 18 is incorrect. 18 is the total length from here all the way to here. We are going to need to know that, because we need to know, let me use green here, we need to know this number. That's going to be our base, it's going to be our height, or vice versa, it doesn't matter. You know, one of these is the base, one of these is the height. We need those two numbers. So I want to stop right there, or ask you to stop right here. If you needed a hint, there's your hint. Find this number and this number. Use the numbers that you see out here to figure out what those would be. All right, let's go over the answers. This side length right here, if this is 6, from here to here is 6, and the entire distance from here to here is 15, then here to here is going to be 9. Okay, we've got it pretty messy here. So this length here is 9, and then we're going to use the same reasoning here. If 18 is the total here, but from here to here is 10, that means from here to here must be 8. So our triangle is 1/2 times 8 times 9. And then we're going to add these together when we're finished. So we work it all out. There's 150 over here. This is 4. 4 times 9 is 36. So we put these together. Once we have the numbers written out, it's pretty easy. So when you're doing this, how I organized it here is just the easiest way to do it. The hard part is making sure you have the right numbers. But once you write these numbers on paper, you write them all down, then all you have to do is do the math and then get your answer. And it's pretty simple how you work through it. It's 186, and the units are square meters. All right, let's look at another problem. This is a good challenge problem. There may be a problem like this on the test too, so think carefully about this. Think about the things you know. Come over here to the side on your paper and draw out some shapes that will help you organize your work. Put down your formulas, you know what information you need to know, and then find the area of that whole irregular shaped figure. Go ahead and hit pause, and then come on back, and we'll go over our answer. All right, let's go over our answer together here. I would, of course, it looks pretty simple to cut it right here, decompose it into these shapes. We have a trapezoid here, sorry, not a trapezoid, parallelogram here, and my amazing parallelogram right there. I know it's frighteningly great, isn't it? So parallelogram is base times height, so that is going to be 10 times, and the height is not this. This is the slant height. The height is this. It's got to be a 90-degree angle with the base. So 10 times 7. That's going to take care of this section right here, this whole parallelogram. Now we need the hard part, which is the triangle shape. So what do we not forget? The 1/2. We need the base and the height. Well, the height's easy. The height is 7 because this is up and down like this. This is the 90 degrees from the base. Let's just put the 7 down here. Now the hard part is the base because it doesn't tell us what the base is. All right, let's just examine the numbers that we do know. Okay, I'm going to erase some things here. All right, just to clear this, let's see what we do know. We know that a parallelogram, if this is 10 inches, the opposite side of it is also 10 inches. So opposite edges are congruent. I know from here to here is 10 inches. I want to know, what is it from here to here? Now, if you got stuck on this one, do you now see how to get this length right here? If the whole thing is 10, and from here to here is 2, this part right here must be 8. So what is our full base for the triangle? 8 and 6. Yes, it is 14. 14. All right, so here is our full math problem. All we have to do is do this math, add these together. So we have 70 over here. I'm going to do 1/2 times 14 first. That's 7, and then 7 times 7 is 49. And then add these together and get 119, and that is square inches. All right, I think that's the simplest way to go through that one right there. If that perplexed you a little bit, go back and do it again. Make sure you know how to find these missing edges. There are some of these in the Nearpod example also, and the Nearpod activity as well. All right, so now we've come to the end of this video. So you want to finish this. You can go back and do it as much as you want, of course, but now I want you to go into this this activity right here that we started last week. Take a look at your answers. If you haven't finished it, then go back in and finish it. Write all your answers on paper, and then you're going to start up the Volume with Fractional Edge Pieces video. It walks you through an explanation of all the answers. You can just look at the answers. If you got them right, you're done. You're going to move on to the next thing. If you got them incorrect, then you want to see some explanation on the problems you got wrong. I go through every single one of these problems in detail and show you how to solve these. Okay, it's pretty simple once you get the hang of it. Sometimes you just have to do it a few times and you're like, oh yeah, this is pretty easy, I got this. All right, so when you're finished with that, you want to follow the rest of these problems right here. Do the Nearpod practice and then the study guide, and that is today right there. So that's it. Your homework is to practice for the test. Study guide, Nearpod, all of these things are what you need to work on. All right, that's it. Thank you all.